Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode with Dr. Mohammed Al-Mu'taz. In this episode, I will be presenting about sleep. Without further ado, let us start. What got me to the idea of presenting about sleep is that I was walking and I was totally exhausted. I tried to sleep in one of the shops we visited. However, I was not able to. That got me thinking into the idea of why do we sleep in certain positions and not in others.
Oh, really?
Let's start with multiple different positions of sleeping. So you have the majority of people sleep in the fetal position, presented to you here in the first column. You'll see that they sleep to their side. Yeah, it is taken from the word fetus. Then you have the log. You have 15% of the population sleep in the log position. Then you have the earner, and then you have the soldier position, and the free faller and starfish. You can see that the last two columns are mostly associated with very low percentages of people. The starfish position is one in which only 5% of the population sleep in, while for the free faller it's around 7%. Health actually affects the sleep position you choose. I looked at a research paper, an article from 2016 in the Journal of Sleep Health. Adults change their sleeping position multiple times at night. On average, people change their position around 20 to 45 times a night. There are three factors that actually affect your sleeping position. Number one is age. So the age of the person actually affects the sleeping pattern. Then you have the health, which is the number two. Okay, people with heart failure prefer to sleep while they're upright. The third aspect, comfort of the person. The comfort of the person can vary. People who are well financially off actually have better sleeping habits than people who are not. People who are disheveled and people who are homeless are less likely to have good mattresses and less likely to have better shelter. I looked at another study from 2019. This was not actually a study, it was a meta analysis. They combined multiple studies to just figure out what the best sleeping pattern is for people with back pain. So, for the study, the first thing is the inclusion and the exclusion criteria. So, the inclusion criteria for this study, people had to be around 18 years old or older. So, infants were totally excluded, and childhood and teenagers were excluded. The second thing is that people with pain or stiffness in their backs, cervical and thoracic and lumbar spine. They looked at the exclusion criteria to rule out people who were not to be included into the study. Animals, cadavers, and red flag pathologies such as people with tumor and people on CPAP. Then you have the participants from all the study were divided into three, so according to their sleeping habits. So number one, they either slept supine, which is their back is to the mattress.
What?
The second thing is sideline. These are the people who they lied to their side. And the final one is the prone position. The prone position is the one where you have your forehead touching the pillow. The methodology they used is a self-reporting questionnaire. They gave these participants a questionnaire. They depended on the self-reporting questionnaire. So the questionnaire included these five questions. In what posture do you usually sleep? In what posture do you usually wake up? In what sleep posture do you usually spend most of the nights? Posture most closely resembles the posture you are lying in when you fall asleep, and which posture most closely resembles the posture when you wake up. And then they had follow-up questions. They were asked about their symptoms: low back pain before being monitored, and low back pain after answering the questionnaire, and the location of the frequency of morning symptoms and the spine and the stiffness that occurred during the past month. The results were quite varied.
What? You don't say.
Sleeping in an upright position is more likely to report all waking symptoms compared with subjects who slept in other positions. I'm sure you've experienced this. You try to sleep on an airplane, however, you have your forehead touching the chair in front of you, and you notice that you have difficulties in sleeping, number one, and the second thing is the frequent awakening, that and the sound of the airplanes, obviously. Then you have the other study was 2015, Abanobi, which mentions that sleeping in supine position increases the risk of developing lower back pain. Then in 2016, there was another study, CARI, that mentions no difference whatsoever. So these were the studies that I've mentioned. And in conclusion, what they noticed with regards to the whole studies is that there was not enough high quality studies to adequately answer the questions brought forth by the researchers. So, whichever position you choose, it's up to you. You can be a log, you can be in the fetal position, you can be in the starfish position, you can even create your own position. Whatever it is, do what suits you best.